Hey guys, how's it going? EnteiTainment here. My name is Daniel. Just quickly saying thank you for checking out this video. I really appreciate that and I hope you enjoy it. There's no battles in this video, so if you're here for that, probably don't stick around. But if you want to see my thought process as we prep for week 3 against Cherrymander, definitely stay tuned. Thanks. Hello, and welcome to my Week 3 team builder for the CSL. We're going to be preparing for the Zardzians, who are coached by Cherrymander. We're trying something a little different today because I realized the live team builders are extraordinarily long. So I'm going to instead do a post-narration of a previously constructed team that I think will do well, but I'm still going to talk about my thought process. It's just going to be hopefully much more brief because I'm not going to be actively building the team as it happens and sort of thinking of ideas and then discarding them and all that stuff. So first, we're going to go over my team so we can look at some common weaknesses that I have. It consists of Mega Aerodactyl, Volcarona, Gyarados, Infernape, Florges, Bronzong, Trevenant, Togetic, Muck, Claydol, and Tornadus Incarnate. So the main weaknesses we're going to have to be looking out for in this battle and in ones to come are going to be Electric, Ice, and Rock. Or not so much rock, more water, I would say. Rock will play a role because I really want to get rid of hazards, since a lot of my team does not appreciate hazards, but the three main ones are going to be electric, water, and ice that we're going to have to look out for. So that is my team. We have a lot of offensive presence, particularly fire, because we have Volcarona and Infernape, both of which are two very powerful fire attackers. However, we also have a Aerodactyl and a Gyarados who can be very formidable in their own right. And we have some defensive stuff as well. And into Tornadus Incarnate, who's kind of just thrown on there. But anyways, his team consists of Mega Banette, Weavile, Togekiss, Reuniclus, Roserade, Ambipom, Quillfish, Durant, Regirock, Ditto, and Victini. So definitely a weird team, but one that has some threats to mine. Similarly to when we were prepping for King Zycro, his Entei is going to act very similarly to the Victini this battle, because if Cherrymander feels like predicting and going for Bolt Strike as I switch in a Gyarados, he's obviously not going to take that. Gyarados can take Fire-type moves, no problem, if it's defensive, but Bolt Strike's not so much. Similarly, the Weavile is going to pose a massive threat due to my pretty large ice weakness. However, I do feel I'll be able to keep him in check with things like defensive Gyarados and mostly Mach Punch on Infernape, which probably kills without any attack investment. Like a modest Infernape could probably kill Weavile with Mach Punch. And then finally, I'm not going to have a lot of switch-ins to Roserade. Really, my switch-ins are limited to Bronzong and Volcarona, because Claydol would switch into a Sludge Bomb, but then can't really take a Leaf Tornado or a Giga Drain or anything like that. Trevenant doesn't really feel like taking Sludge Bombs all the time, and just stuff like that. So Roserade might seem to be an issue, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about what I think his team will be, because that's sort of the first thing I focused on. So if you look at his team, I knew he was going to bring Victini because, or at least I think I know, he's going to bring Victini because Victini is power. Nothing really wants to take a V-Create except Gyarados, and as I said, Gyarados doesn't want to take a Bolt Strike. So we need to be very, very careful when we're playing around with this Victini, because it is going to pack a wallop, particularly if it is banded, which generally they like to be. Next, he's going to bring the Weavile, I think, because of my ice weakness, like I said. Priority Ice Shard hits a lot, and knockoff is always good for any team. Then I'm thinking he brings the Quillfish, just because it shuts down most of my offensive presence, including Aerodactyl if it doesn't carry EQ, Gyarados if it doesn't carry EQ, Infernape 100% of the time, really, because Thunder Punch doesn't really want to hit Quillfish very hard. and then it also shuts down Muck and probably Tornadoes, but not sure. So I think he's going to bring that for defensive presence. I think he's also going to bring his Togekiss as well as sort of a bulky mon. Those two pair fairly well together. They're both weak to electric, but Togekiss is obviously immune to ground, which Quillfish is weak to, and Quillfish can usually switch into rock types that might scare out Togekiss, so it seems like that'll be a pretty powerful core, and I'm feeling like he's going to bring it because he has no other way to get rid of hazards. And that's going to be big for him because Victini, which I think he's bringing, and Weavile, which I think he's bringing, are going to probably be his 2 win conditions this game. Or his 2 biggest threats, I should say. So he wants to keep those healthy, and he wants to keep rocks off of his side of the field, so I'm predicting him to bring a Defog Togekiss. I also think, speaking of hazards, that he's going to bring a Regirock, since he wants to set up rocks, and really nothing wants to prevent rocks on my team from this Regirock. He can safely just take a hit and go for them. I don't think anything wants to one-shot, except maybe... I think a modest Infernape with Focus Blast will one-shot if it connects, but there's no way I'm risking that. And I don't really feel like running Special Infernape, as I will talk about later. So that leaves me with his 6th slot, which I'm not really sure what it will be, is the main problem. He could bring, basically, I think he'll bring anything that's not Reuniclus, because Reuniclus seems pretty useless for him in this battle. But Ditto might be tempting for him, because I have a lot of things that set up, as I've shown in previous matches. Banette could be tempting just because it's his Mega, and it also gives Priority Destiny Bond, which can stop sweepers, obviously, in their tracks, albeit while sacking his own Mega. He could also bring Rosedroid, like I was talking about, because it just deals out a lot of damage. The coverage moves on Durant hit a lot of my team. If he runs Hone Claws, Iron Head, X-Scissor, and Rock Slide, it's going to hit the vast majority of my team super effectively, and I think it's perfect neutral coverage against everything, so that's scary as well. And then finally, Ambipom. He's brought Ambipom, I think, every time, and that Technician Fake Out Stab Life Orb shenanigans is not something to mess around with, so he could also bring that. I'm really not sure about his final slot, but those are the 5 ones that I'm pretty sure he's going to bring. So now that we've talked about that, I'm going to just jump right into the team I have constructed and sort of walk you through my process. So I was looking at it, and Volcarona kind of walks through this team if it can set up, bar the Togekiss, and of course bar Priority Destiny Bond on the Banette. So I guess Aerodactyls first, but we're going to talk about Volcarona because really nothing wants to stop me. Nothing wants to take a Bug Buzz once I get set up, and then Regirock, really his one stop to this thing, is not going to take 2 Giga Drains from +2, and I don't even think he takes 1 from +3, but that speaks to the bulk of Regirock. If I was fully invested in special attack, it still does not one-hit KO from +2, so that's pretty crazy. But anyways, this definitely looks like an odd set, because it is, but it's sort of a max defense variant with Charty Berry, which will reduce super effective rock type moves. So with this spread, we can take a Rock Slide or a Stone Edge, unless he crits, and then we can proceed to Giga Drain basically all of that health back, and we will be able to just outspeed him and finish him off. I think I want Swarm just because Bug Buzz will really be able to do some serious damage if I get down there. But the other part of that is his Ambipom switching in and going in for Fake Out repeatedly is going to be probably one of the few answers he has to this. So in that case, I might want Flame Body because it's pretty high chance that he'll burn himself. But I decided to throw on Roost just so that hopefully I can Roost off Fake Out damage as he switches out into a different Mon to sack it. So that's going to be the plan. We have Quiver Dance, Giga Drain for the Regirock, Bug Buzz just for Stab and Roost. I opted to not go for Fire Blast, which might sound weird on a Volcarona, but if he brings the Ditto and wants to switch in on this thing and try to kill me, he's not going to be able to. These moves obviously do nothing to Volcarona. I think they're both quad resisted. I think Bug Buzz is actually only ×2 resisted, but Giga Drain is quad resisted, can't do anything to Volcarona. So if he switches in his Ditto and goes, oh wait, crap, you have no fire move, he's going to be forced to switch out, and I can just get another free Quiver or another Roost or just get damage on something, whatever is most beneficial to me in that situation. So really, the two counters to this I saw were Regirock and Ditto, so I tried to be able to handle both of those, which I think this will do well. He does have the Banette like I talked about, but that's, I mean, I can't really do anything about that. I could Quiver Dance until he runs out of Destiny Bonds, I guess, but that's really my only option there. The other thing that walks through his team is actually going to be Mega Aerodactyl, because you can see that if I start going for Hone Claws, the combination of Stone Edge and Aqua Tail will actually hit basically everything. This is going to be more of a problem if he brings Ditto, because Ditto will be able to come in and one-shot me and probably the rest of my team, especially if he's Scarfed. But the only thing that really shuts me down are Ditto and Quillfish, since Quillfish has the Intimidate and these moves don't do anything to Quillfish. I could bring Earthquake instead, excuse me, but the problem with that, Tough Claws is kind of tough. Kind of tough. Tough Claws is kind of unfortunate on Aerodactyl because he doesn't get a whole lot of moves that actually benefit from that, and Aqua Tail is one of them. And Aqua Tail will do a lot of damage to Regirock and just to things in general that resist Stone Edge. It'll be able to hit the Togekiss. Wait, no, Togekiss is weak to Stone Edge. I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I do want Earthquake now that I'm actually looking at it, because I don't think Roserade wants to take a Stone Edge anyways. I'll do some calcs. Also, one thing I discovered is that you can import teams down here and your set will show up. So if we click on Petrie right here, this is my set on this Aerodactyl, which I had no idea that was a thing. But we're going to look at Roserade and assume offensive, because he will probably be that. So Stone Edge will OHKO even without investment. So an EQ will let me hit Quillfish super effectively, as opposed to Aqua Tail. So I'm not going to have, this is from -1 though, so if he only brought us down to like +1 attack, it's still probably going to KO, especially after rocks. So it's kind of unfortunate that we're sort of wasting our Tough Claws ability, but I guess that's really all we can do. Is there any reason for me not to do that? It also forces Ditto to go for Stone Edge if he ends up switching that in, which means I can then proceed to maybe go into Dreidel, because Dreidel can take those, whereas Dreidel cannot take an Aqua Tail. Alright. Okay, I talked myself into it. We're not really gonna use Tough Claws, unfortunately, but we have Hone Claws to boost, Roost for longevity, and then just the Edgequake combination. These EVs ensure that I will outspeed Jolly Weavile after I Mega. The key there is after I Mega. Before I Mega, he's going to be faster and can likely KO with an Icicle Crash. But if I Mega Evolve and hit him with a Stone Edge, he'll die and I'll be faster. So he'll have to go for Ice Shard for damage or something like that. Next up we have Dreidel, which is a weird set because I don't think anyone really runs Claydol, but I think it's a really fun mon, and I'm hoping that it'll do well later on as the weeks come and go. He's going to be our rocker as well as our spinner, because hazards, as I said, hurt me, and this Dreidel kind of naturally counters his Regirock, since Regirock generally likes to carry Stone Edge or Rock Slide, and then Rocks, and then maybe T-Wave or Toxic, and sometimes they run Protect. He probably gets Seismic Toss, but I'm not actually positive. So, but anyways, Dreidel can obviously take T-Waves, being a ground type, as well as any rock type moves he wants to go for. And then Earth Power, if I'm Modest and Life Orbed, is a guaranteed 2-hit KO on a fully specially defensive Regirock. He's not going to be Assault Vest because he's going to want to go for rocks, and Assault Vest would prevent him from doing so. But basically, that's the explanation of those three moves. Ancient Power is something I'm actually kind of debating now. It lets me hit the Togekiss as well as the Weavile. I'm probably not going to be wanting to stay in on Weavile because he's going to outspeed and just kill me with knockoff. but I think I'll keep it. I might be able to get some shenanigans off. You never know. And it also, I mean, yeah, I think I'll keep it. Size Shock doesn't really hit anything except for the Roserade, and I have Satan to deal with Roserade, so I don't think I really need Psychic Stab on this thing. Yeah, so we're just gonna go with this, and that'll be the move set for that. I know Life Orb in conjunction with Rapid Spin isn't generally the best way to go, but I really need Rapid Spin, and I need Life Orb if I wanted to hit KO the beast known as Regirock. So my hands are kind of tied here. I need this spread, and sorry, and that's gonna be that. I'm really sorry for my voice. It's definitely getting better, but sometimes I feel a little tickle in my throat, and I can't really help coughing. Let me get some water as I consider this. Sorry. All right. That will bring us into Gyarados, which is another hopefully interesting and hopefully will work spread. It's very similar to the one we saw week 1. It's a defensive Gyarados. However, I'm running Rocky Helmet over Leftovers because I chose to run Rest. And the reason of this is I'm kind of tired of Gyarados not getting any good recovery moves, so I went ahead and gave him Rest. The other moves are the same. I think I substituted Ice Beam or something because Ice doesn't really hit much of this guy's team anyway, so I didn't really need it. And I just went with Waterfall. I might go for Scald again, but I kind of just want to get chip damage on stuff, and he'll obviously hit harder with Waterfall than he will with a Scald. And basically, he has Rest because I have Aromatherapy on the Florges, which I'll get into, but basically that will allow me to rest on maybe an out switch. If I switch this thing into Weavile and get the Intimidate drop, Weavile can't stay in. He's not going to do any damage. So, and if I'm low, I can just sort of rest and then switch this thing out, get Florges in there, and Aromatherapy. He'll be good to go. So that's going to be the plan with Loch Ness. I'm hoping that it works. He just has Thunder Wave to cripple some stuff. Mostly Weavile, but I wouldn't mind paralyzing really anything on his team just to slow it down and give Satan and Petrie sort of a 30% chance to win the game, because if they boost, then it's over. The game is over. So that's the thought process behind Thunderwave, and then Dragon Tail just to force switches. He has no fairies except Togekiss, so he's probably going to be forced to switch a lot of the time. This Florges, I think, is the exact same set I ran earlier. It's just going to be a Wish Passer because, like I was talking about, Gyarados doesn't get useful recovery. I did give him Rest, but also part of that Dreidel, who's sort of my other wall, doesn't get recovery either. So, and just Wish Passing in general is nice. I can pass into these two maybe and try to get something going. He has Aromatherapy for Rest and just for getting hazards, yeah, just for getting status off of my team. Togekiss might want to start Thunder Waving stuff, and I'm going to want Aromatherapy because that's going to be super annoying if Togekiss gets a Thunder Wave on Volcarona. And then just Moonblast for stab and Protect in case I want to heal myself because I want to be guaranteed to receive that wish. So that's the idea behind Florges. He doesn't have much for Florges if he brings the team I was talking about before. I don't think Quillfish... I guess Quillfish could run Poison Jab, but I'm not sure how how common that is. So I'm not really sure. Roserade will be able to hurt me really, really bad. But like I said, I have Volcarona for Roserade, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'm just invested in defense because his special defense is already really high as it is. I didn't really feel like I needed to be investing in it, and this will let me take more hits from Weavile, from Ambipom, from Quillfish if he has Poison Jab, and from Regirock, I guess. So I don't think I really take anything from Victini, especially if it's banded, but hopefully that won't be an issue. It definitely will be. I think I'm okay prepared for it. Really, what it's going to come down to is I'm going to have to sack, I think, one of these three, and then go into the appropriate booster and just kind of win. So hopefully that goes well. I'm a little skeptical, but we're going to see what happens. And then finally we have Kerchak, the Infernape, running Fist Plate and a moveset that is pretty similar to the band set. I'm debating running, I think I'll run Iron Fist just because Blaze isn't really going to do anything for me. Fire doesn't hit a lot except for the, I mean, Durant can't take moves anyway, so I'm not going to count him. Durant's really, really frail, but I guess Roserade, it would be nice for Roserade, but I don't think he'll bring it. But anyways, I'm running sort of a banded set except with Fist Plate. This is mostly to check Weavile because, like I was talking about before, Mach Punch is going to KO Weavile unless he is Focus Sash. There is no way on the planet Weavile is taking anything. Even if he's max defense, he's not taking this. I'm adamant just for the most damage output possible, and because I don't need to be Jolly. The only thing that outspeeds me is Victini. If it's Jolly Victini, I think it will outspeed me. I'll check on that, but I'm pretty sure. If we look at Infernape, and the other part of that is I can't really do anything to Victini anyways, so if I'm adamant, oh, he's only base 100. Oh, I lied to you. Oh no, this is adamant. Yeah. So if he's Jolly Victini, he is gonna outspeed me. But if you look over here, none of my moves really do anything to him anyways, so I didn't feel like I needed to be faster than him, since I'm probably going to be switching out on this Victini, or just sacking Infernape and going for, like, Mach Punch or something. So that's the reason why I'm adamant. I just want as much damage as possible, as quickly as possible, and I'm not too concerned about outspeeding stuff, because I think I outspeed everything else anyways. Roserade is not faster than me. Ambipom is, but he doesn't want to take a Mach Punch. And that's about it. Weavile is faster but doesn't want to take a Mach Punch. So there was really, I didn't see any need to be Jolly. Adamant seemed like the way to go. So yeah, that's the team. He also, sorry, before I end the episode, he has U-Turn that will hopefully allow me to pivot into other things. I don't think I've used U-Turn on Infernape yet, so hopefully he'll be expecting either the Endeavor lead I used last time, or he'll just be expecting special maybe, I don't know. But Infernape is really, really diverse, so he's definitely not going to be expecting Fist Plate. Oh, the other thing is, if I lead with, I'll probably lead Dreidel if he brings Regirock, but if I'm in with Kerchak on Regirock for whatever reason, I can go for a close combat on that thing, and then with this, I can sort of bait the band. This can make people think you low rolled on a banded Infernape just because it's obviously banded is 1.5, so it's not really nearly as powerful, but you can bait the band. So if he had Banette, he would want to go into that since Banette is immune to close combat. But then I can U-turn on that thing, I can just Flare Blitz on that thing and do some pretty killer damage to it. So that, I wanted some diversity just so I can hopefully catch some of his things off guard if he tries to switch into them. Also, Togekiss can switch into close combats but doesn't want to take Flare Blitzes quite as well. He probably still wants to take them because he's going to be bringing what is likely a max defense Togekiss, but that was my thinking there. I want to be able to switch my moves. And yeah, this Infernape is really just for killing Weavile. And maybe getting some damage off on the Regirock. So that's going to be the team. Let me know what you guys think about the post-narration as I sort of scroll through my mons. I think it's going to work better because you guys don't have to sit through an hour-long video. I get that it helps me because I need to actually explain what the decisions I'm making, but if I do it like this, like just now I switched EQ for Aquatail because I was talking about it and I realized, oh, Aquatail actually doesn't hit very much on his team. So it's definitely helpful for me to narrate over these, and I think it will be better and more enjoyable if they're not an hour long. So, but let me know what you think in the comments. If this sort of format is preferred, that's great. I'll keep doing this. But if you guys really want to see the longer team builders, I tried to keep the last one down, but it was an hour long anyways, so I can't really make any promises. I don't know how long those videos will be. It really depends on the team matchup. Even this team matchup, I feel like I have the advantage here, and it took me a really long time to make this team, so I don't know. I'll see what you guys have to say in the comments, but definitely let me know, and I will be able to address that accordingly. So yes, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. You can feel free to leave any questions or concerns down in the comments section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And by the time you see this video, the battle will already be over, so we will either be 2-1 or 3-0. So fingers crossed. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. This has been Daniel, and EnteiTainment out. It happened long, long ago. The world was racked by a ferocious clash between the Pokemon of the land and the Pokemon of the sea. The Pokemon of the land raised mountains and created continents. The Pokemon of the sea rained huge waves and carved out oceans. Their fierce duel raged